If every 3/4 head you draw ends up looking kinda weird, don't worry, you're not alone. Today I'll show you exactly how to nail this angle using the Loomis method, step by step. Stick with me till the end and you'll never mess up a 3/4 head again. For this head angle, we'll start by drawing the circle from the top. It needs to touch 3 key points: the left side of the skull, the right side, and the very top, not the hairline. And don't worry about the bottom. Once you connect those 3 points into a circle, you'll already have it in the correct position. This circle is the basic Loomis sphere. And speaking of spheres, if you want to master the Loomis method in full detail, from 0 to every head angle, you can get my complete Loomis course right now. It's designed to take you from absolute beginner all the way to full confidence with Loomis. Just click on the course image showing up on screen, or find the link in the description below. Don't miss out. Step 2, my friends, let's find the center point. This point sits right between the eyebrows, where the vertical line crosses the horizontal line. From the center point, draw a horizontal line, also called the eyebrow line. It passes right through the eyebrows and stretches outward toward the top of the ear. Super simple. From that same center point, draw the vertical line. It crosses the horizontal line, runs down between the eyebrows, and goes all the way to the middle of the mouth and the chin. On the top side, it curves to follow the roundness of the sphere, not straight. These 2 lines are basically the map for everything else we'll add to the head. Now we come to the part that confuses a lot of people, and I get tons of comments about it: the side cut, or the oval shape. Where exactly do we place it? Focus with me, my friend. Look at the end of the eyebrow. Around the middle, or just before the middle, that's where we place the cut. Its boundaries go from top to bottom. At the top, it lines up with the hairline. At the bottom, it lines up with the nose line. But as you can see here, from the bottom it gets cut off. It's not a full oval. There's no extra space between it and the circle because in this angle, the head is tilted slightly downward. So sometimes you'll see more space at the top, sometimes less at the bottom. That's why the angle of this cut always changes depending on the angle of the head. Make sense? I hope that clears it up. At the top of the side cut, we start drawing the hairline, also called the hair base. It's perfectly parallel to the eyebrow line. Now, take that same distance between the hairline and the eyebrow line and repeat it once more below. That gives us the nose line, right at the bottom of the nose. Then we add a third equal space again, and this marks the chin line. These 3 lines are the key to getting the correct proportions of the face length. In the middle of the side cut, draw a vertical line. Ideally, it should sit right in the center of the cut, but since the head is tilted, it leans slightly to the right. From the bottom, connect it to the chin line on the right side. That gives us half of the lower jaw. On the other side, connect the outer edge of the circle down to the same chin line on the right. Now, the lower jaw is complete. At this point, you can erase the lower part of the circle. We don't need it anymore. Next, we draw the 2 curved lines that define the sides of the face. They start from the top of the ear, run along the cheek, and curve down to connect with the chin. On the right side, the entire line is visible because this is the near side of the head. But on the left, we only see about half of the line. It doesn't go all the way down. After that, sketch in 2 simple necklines, just as a rough guide for the head's position. Then add 2 oval shapes for the eye sockets, 1 on each side. Place a circle for the nose to mark its projection. Between the 2 curved cheek lines we just drew, we can now define the width of the mouth. And of course, the ear goes right here, just like we always place it. And that's it. The full Loomis foundation for this angle is complete. Now we're ready to start drawing the actual features. Let's go. For the nose, start by drawing 2 small circles to represent the sides of the nostrils. On the left, the circle is smaller because that side of the nose isn't fully visible. On the right, the circle appears larger and clearer. Next, between the overlap of the main circle and the right circle, draw the visible nostril opening. Try to match its curve and shape exactly. Then, add the bottom edge of the nose along the darker guideline. It's darker because it naturally catches a shadow. Sketch the left side of the nose and also add the vertical line that connects the nose down to the mouth. Make sure to pay attention to the direction and shape of these lines to get the correct nose structure. Finally, add a bit of shading under the nose using simple hatching, just like we always do, to make it stand out more and look realistic. And that's it. The nose is complete with just a few simple lines. Now let's move on to the mouth. The tricky part here is always the distance between the nose and the mouth. You have to make sure it's accurate, not too short, not too long. To help with this, start by sketching a very light guideline that connects the bottom of the nose to the top of the mouth. This keeps the proportions correct. Next, draw the upper lip line carefully to capture the right curve. Then add the dividing line between the lips. This is the most important line of the mouth. It gives you the shape of the smile, just like in the reference. As long as you match those little curves and breaks in this line, you'll get the same expression. Finally, add the lower lip line. Keep all these lines light, except for the middle dividing line, which should be darker. After that, add shading to give the lips more depth and realism, on both the upper and lower lip. And just like that, the mouth is finished with a few simple steps. I know this might surprise you, but unfortunately when I was recording this part, the camera wasn't running. Yeah, I only realized it after I finished the section, so sorry about that. We won't be able to see this part on screen. But no worries, let's jump straight ahead to the eyebrows. I'll start with the eyebrow that connects to the nose, trying to match its exact shape and the upward tilt you can see. At first, I drew it a bit too long, so I adjusted it. Then I move on to the second eyebrow on the right side, and again, I try to keep the same shape and tilt. This girl's eyebrows are unique because the individual hairs are very visible, so take your time here. Draw small, simple strokes one after another with the tip of your pencil, and make sure the pencil is sharp so each line gives you that thin, realistic hair effect. And now it's time to start the hair. As always, I begin with the inner hairline, the baseline we marked at the very start. Getting the hairline right is super important because it sets the foundation for the entire hairstyle. So I draw the hairline carefully, along with the first edges of the hair on both the left and right sides. Once the inner line is in place, I move to the outer contour of the hair, left, right, and across the top. The more accurate you are with this outline, the better the hairstyle will match the reference. After that, I sketch in the main hair strands inside. The more essential strands you define, the closer you'll get to capturing the actual hairstyle. Here I'm using my usual sketching technique that I often show on this channel. If you'd like a full tutorial on realistic hair sketching, let me know in the comments and I'll cover it in a future lesson. Once the top section is done, I also add the small parts of hair near the face, a bit on the left beside the mouth, and on the right just under the ear. And that's it! The hair is complete in a few simple structured steps, with a clean and artistic look. We can also add a few little details on the face to make it even more lively. And now, my friends, it's time for the beautiful feature, the eyes. The eyes are what really bring realism and beauty to the face. First, I draw a horizontal guideline just below the eyebrows to make sure both eyes stay aligned. On this line, I add the crease above the upper eyelid, starting on the right, then repeating on the left. This way, both are perfectly balanced. Next, I draw the upper eyelid just below that crease, usually following the same curve. Then I add the lower eyelid and its crease underneath, making sure the eyes keep the same width. Be careful here. If you push the lower lid too far up or too far down, it completely changes the expression. Once the lids are done, I add a few simple eyelashes. Nothing overdone, just enough to match the reference. After that, I place the iris inside each eye. Position is important because it controls the direction of the gaze. Here, the gaze is slightly to the right, so I place both irises shifted that way. I shade them lightly with an HB pencil, add the dark pupil inside, and finally a highlight spot with a white gel pen. And that's it. We've completed the full 3/4 portrait, step by step, from scratch to the final details. If you followed along till the end, you're a dedicated artist, and I'd love to see you comment below, "I watched till the end." It only takes about 8 or 9 minutes to draw a full face, but most artists don't have the patience to stick with it. So let me know in the comments if you stayed with me, and ask any questions you might have. I'll reply to you. And don't forget, my complete Loomis course is available now, a full step-by-step program covering every angle, in detail, from zero all the way to mastery. Check the course link in the description, or tap on the image on screen. Alright, my friends, that's it for today's lesson. See you in the next one. Happy drawing!